actually is reporting that a Democratic-leaning group is going to get involved in Secretary of State's races all across the country, and they're going to try to frame the election as though secretaries of state have tried to infringe on voting rights. Even if that group didn't exist, we've already seen that that's what they're going to say about you here. And they'll point to things about the number of times you've been sued, and that may be in your role simply as Secretary of State, but the argument may not go there. My question is, how are you going to defend yourself against those charges, and how are you going to separate, perhaps, from maybe some laws that have been passed by the legislature that may speak more to the points that groups like that will make this fall?
Well, people in politics say crazy things that they can't justify. And I consider those kinds of statements the kind of crazy things that people can't justify. Because you just need to look at the facts, frankly. The facts are, in Ohio, that it is very easy to vote. I'll again reiterate. You have 35 days to vote. Every single voter will get an absentee ballot sent to their home. They fill it out and send it in. And they have 5 weeks to vote. And it couldn't hardly be easier to vote in our state. In terms of the laws, I used to make the laws. As a matter of fact, when I was Speaker of the House and in the legislature, we used to pass bipartisan legislation on voting issues. But the laws that I get sued over now are laws that are passed by this General Assembly or a previous General Assembly. And I have the responsibility to defend them. I don't think, I mean, look, there's a controversy right now at the federal level about the Affordable Care Act, whether the president's just unilaterally deciding to implement laws or not implement laws. I have taken the position that I have a constitutional responsibility to implement the laws that are passed by the General Assembly. The Supreme Court said that I'm supposed to assume that every law is constitutional until proven otherwise. And so I don't make judgments about whether I like the laws or whether I should implement the laws, because the court in the history of our country says that that's what I shall do. And that's what I do. I implement the laws. And I get sued over, it's stunning to me in some cases that legislators who actually voted for the laws that I'm implementing are complaining about the fact that I got sued over them. They shouldn't pass them then. They shouldn't vote for them if they don't want to stand behind them. But it is very easy to vote in Ohio. As a matter of fact, when I'm out talking around the state, I hear more complaints about security issues and making it too easy to vote that opens things up to fraud and abuse. And so that's why I did the post-2012 election review, where we asked the bipartisan boards of elections to look at all cases of voter suppression and voter fraud. They came up with 0 cases of voter suppression where somebody was denied the opportunity to vote. And I will tell you, in response to your question, Joe, if there is a single person that wanted to vote that was denied that opportunity, I'm the first person that wants to know their name and figure out how we can help them make sure that they can cast a ballot if they had trouble. Because to this day, I hear a lot of rhetoric, but I have not been presented the name of a single voter who was denied that opportunity. And then, secondly, on the fraud side, we've tried to reassure people that fraud exists, but it's rare. And if it's encountered, we hold those people accountable, and we're working hard every single day to build a system where it is very difficult, or even more difficult, to cheat. You can present the facts on this, and people will come to different conclusions. We found 270 cases of voter irregularities that were referred to local prosecutors, and a handful of them ended up being prosecuted. We found people that voted in multiple states. There are a handful of those that are being prosecuted. We found 17 non-citizens that voted in Ohio. There are a handful of those right now that are in the process of going forward with further investigation and prosecution. But the bottom line is that people should feel really good about their election system in Ohio, no matter which side of that equation that they're on, because it is easy to vote and hard to cheat. And we continue to reiterate that. And I am perfectly comfortable letting the facts stand for themselves. I don't care who nationally wants to come in. You know, look, Ohio gets focused on because it's an important state. It's an important state. If people nationally want to get involved politically, have at it. I hope that they'll be a little more constructive than they have been in the past.
Can I follow up, Julie?
Yep.
Would you consider your record as Secretary of State to be one